We always start off by saying you're tuned in to 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel, as well as giving a like to the Facebook page by the same name. Now, let's get Mr. Eric Person on the line. Eric?
Yes.
Wonderful. You're there.
Yes.
Wonderful. Cool. It's always a good start when I don't disconnect somebody. So
yeah, I hear that.
We're only on our way up. So, Eric, let me do a brief introduction, if I may. I'll start off by saying that jazz saxophonist and composer Eric Person has worked with countless musicians, including McCoy Tyner, Dave Holland, Chico Hamilton, Donald Byrd, and world-class music figures like Vernon Reid, Ben Harper, Bootsy Collins, just to name a few. Eric has recently released his 11th CD titled Blue Vision. He, along with Houston Person, will be performing this Sunday, June 19th, at the Falcon in Marlborough. And with that, a warm welcome back to LocalMotion, Eric Person.
Oh, it's great to be back. I love talking to you. You're so informative and supportive. Appreciate it always.
Oh man, no problem. Last time you were here, it was in studio, and it was so much fun having you in.
Yeah. That I have a picture up on my Facebook page, and that's from the day that we were doing the interview. So it's cool. I think about it a lot.
Oh, that's really cool. You know what? I couldn't find the picture. Normally what I do is when I post right before I go on air, I post, if I have a picture with that musician, I post that photo, and I couldn't find it. But I did post a photo of your CD. So,
okay.
Anyway,
cool.
So, gosh, where to start? I always go back in time and say, this is your life, Eric Person. And you're from St. Louis, yes?
Yes, St. Louis, Missouri. Yep.
And your dad was a local musician and businessman. What did he play?
I mean, he played saxophone. His main instrument was tenor saxophone, but he also played alto and soprano. So he played.
And you started at age 7?
Yeah. He actually told me that I came to him and said, "I'm ready."
Aw.
So I always looked at, after he told me that, and even before, I looked at music for myself as a calling, so I think, I have a great belief in the power and transformativeness of music,
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more that the power of music is unlike most things on this planet, and it's absolutely true. Was saxophone your first instrument? Was it like, oh, Dad's playing and this is the instrument I'm playing? Or did you start out with something else?
I started on alto saxophone. And so, he showed me all the basics, and things, and I have fond memories of him, because he played, he would blow the horn, and I would stand behind him and finger. No, I'm sorry. I would blow into the horn, and he would stand behind me and finger, whatever he wanted to play. So it was like I was playing all these hip licks,
man.
But I was just blowing. He was fingering. So it was nice things that came out of him personally showing me.
Right. Oh man, that's so cool. And was he a jazz musician?
Oh, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah. And what were you guys listening to? 6 years old, 7 years old. How did your dad just had on these great jazz artists, and you picked up on that, or what influenced you? What were you listening to? Because that's such a young age.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe I was hearing jazz ever since I was in the womb, and not only just him playing, but also the stuff he was listening to, because he always took, on his day off, which was Sunday, he always would practice with the records, playing along with the records. So,
oh, nice.
I was introduced to a lot of great music like Coltrane, Jackie McLean, Miles Davis, Sonny Stitt, And, anything else he was listening to, I was pretty much listening to. And actually, he told me later that I hijacked his record collection, and, so a lot of, what he was listening to was, my formative music, like I said, John Coltrane, Jackie McLean, Sonny Stitt, they were all
some pretty good stuff. And I think you and I are like exactly the same age. So there was like no internet or YouTube or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So we were listening to either radio or LPs, albums. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, when did you learn? Did you learn to read music? I'm guessing, or no?
Oh no, definitely. So he had me go to these music stores where there was teachers there, and they taught me how to, read music. So I went through all that stuff, and it was great.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah. And then you went to junior and senior high school, and then you really you got in a band there. Talk to me about those years, those formative years of being in middle and high school.
Okay. Yeah, actually, our family was in North St. Louis, and that's like what we call the city of St. Louis. And then we moved out to the county of Normandy right before I was going to the 5th grade. And that's where I had my first orchestral and band experience. So those years were important because actually when I got to it was Thomas Jefferson Elementary School. It was two guys in front of me who, they were okay musicians. And actually, I kind of saw them as myself as better than them, but they wouldn't allow me to challenge them till after a year. So in that time between the 5th grade and 6th grade, I practiced like crazy, I was just like, I want to come and beat these guys, and I did. I took their chairs and never relinquished it. And I was able to kind of build my confidence off that. So going into junior high school, I just kept building on every triumph I was having in music. Like I joined the jazz band there, and took my first solos in the 8th grade.
Was that the band called Norseman?
Oh no, that's actually not till high school.
Oh, this was middle school. Gotcha.
Yeah, but they had their own jazz band, and so I was in that 2 years, and I took my first solo in the 8th grade. And that same year, I did my first classical competition, which I got an A in that performance. So it was just everything was saying to me by the age of 11, I was like, I want to be a professional musician.
Nice.
So so I had the best of a lot of musical situations, in school and outside of school.
Right. And you also played, from what I understand, in some funk bands, yeah?
Yeah. Actually, I was in a couple of bands that were playing, funk and rhythm and blues. One was called Soulful Young Band. One was called Black Warriors Express. And they were a lot of fun. I did a little traveling with those two groups, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh man, sounds it. It absolutely sounds it. When did composition come into your world?
Actually, I started learning the piano slowly at some point in high school. I didn't write my first tunes till I was actually a senior and deciding to move to New York. Mm-hmm. And I think the first composition I wrote, I didn't like. I was like, nah, that's trash, Mm-hmm. And then I wrote a few things afterwards that was really good, and I liked them a lot. And actually, a few of them I still play, because I was just kind of putting a lot of heart into it. I was really feeling like this was something I really that really connected with me, actually. Mm-hmm. So those first tunes, kind of lit a fire.
Yeah, that's cool. And you enrolled at St. Louis Conservatory of Music, yes? Before you moved to New York?
I actually did that. I think I was in my junior year of high school when I went there, and it was actually just to kind of get my interpretive skills of classical music better, and some technical things also. I was actually at the same time taking some theory at Washington U. Like they had a Saturday theory class, jazz theory class, and I was going out there. So it was like wherever there was some music, I was trying to get my hands into it.
Right.
I had like a little duo thing I was doing with a guitar player where I was playing between the sets at this famous. It's closed now, but it's a jazz club called the Moose Lounge, and so we would play in between other groups, and so it was just like everything was kind of building
right
for me to be a professional.
Right,
you know?
Everything was coming together for you, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you moved to New York because that was where the jazz scene was, or what made you move there? Did you have family or friends there?
I really didn't have any family here that I knew at the time. I guess I should go back a little bit because when I was in high school, a guy named Arnie Lawrence, fantastic saxophonist.
I know Arnie Lawrence. I don't know him. I know his son.
Yes, Eric.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he came to our high school and he did a master class, and he heard me play, and he took a liking to what I was doing and saw that I was, dedicated to learning how to improvise and everything. And actually, he gave me a scholarship to perform at one of Jamie Abersol's jazz camps.
Nice.
So when I went to this jazz camp, I was able to meet a lot of the guys who were actually on the New York scene at the time, like pianist James Williams, Dave Liebman, Todd Kuhlman, Ed Sof, a lot of guys, great musicians. So it was kind of like, I was like, man, these guys are great. I could learn a lot, And so it was just like one thing led to another. I also got a Soloist of the Day award at a competition, a jazz competition. So
wow.
Those things like really kind of made me feel like I could do this. I could be good at this, and so I left for New York after I visited New York. Okay, let me get this straight. I graduated graduated high school and took a trip to New York. And after that trip, I decided to move to New York a year later. And so I came to New York in May of 1982.
Well, it's your 40-year anniversary of being a New Yorker, Eric.
Yep, exactly.
Crazy, right? 40 years.
Yeah. 40 years.
Yeah. And then what'd you do?
I've ridden the highs and the lows of this business.
Yeah. Well, I think if you stick it out and make this a lifelong thing, most musicians probably have been in your shoes, right? Highs, lows, everything in between. So when you got to New York City, how did you wind up connecting with people? You just went to like jazz clubs, or how did all that come together?
Yeah, actually, I met a few musicians who were from St. Louis. And connected with them, and through hanging out with them and playing music, your name just kind of gets around. I used to go and sit in with different musicians and just hanging out, listening, and and a lot of things were just kind of coming together in funny ways, actually, because one drummer from St. Louis, his name is Ronnie Barrage. He told me to go to, we basically both went to a party that Oliver Lake, the saxophonist from St. Louis, was having at his house in Brooklyn. And so there I actually met another St. Louis musician named Marty Ehrlich. And so we were just talking, and he was like, "Hey, I'm working with this drummer, Chico Hamilton. I'm actually ready to lead a gig.
Wow.
You want it?" I was like,
What?
"Really?
Yeah.
That how it works?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so he said, "Okay, give me your number. I'm gonna have Chico call you." So he did that. Chico called me. I auditioned for him. He liked what I was doing, and I guess probably like the next weekend or so, I was playing some gigs with him out in Long Island.
Wow.
And that started my association with him. So that was actually my first gig in New York where it was consistent, gigging and led to recording.
Right.
And so,
hey, do you remember your first recording session?
Actually with Chico, that didn't happen for a few years. Mm-hmm. But I also joined this other guy's band, this guy named Ronald Shannon Jackson. Mm-hmm. And I actually did more touring with his group and more recording. And the first recording I did with him is a record called Decode Yourself.
Oh.
And we recorded that in 1984, so like 2 years after I came to New York. So things would happen real fast, working with him and working with Chico, and then I was doing some other work. My first gig once I landed in New York actually was with the John Hicks Big Band. So that was great.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
Really, really great. And then Kelvin Bell's band, you were with him for a bit too, right?
Yeah, I was with the Kelvinator band from 1988 to 92. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we did quite a bit of touring over in Europe and did one record, what is it called? Refuncanation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any favorite places in Europe that you've played?
I think I kind of think of countries in that regard. Like France was always great, Germany, Italy. Although I would like to do more trips back to Italy, but it was always nice to be there. Mm-hmm. Belgium, yeah, very nice. I have fond memories of playing at Ronnie Scott's in London.
Nice,
a couple of times.
Yeah.
Some other festivals like the Mers Festival in Germany. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
But when I worked with Dave Holland, we played some very prestigious concert halls where some of those places we didn't even need to mic. Like I didn't need to mic myself.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just carried. It was because they built them for orchestras and they weren't mic'd.
Right.
So that, it needed to carry the sound,
Right. So, that's a nice hall when you don't even have to mic, and the sound of that is just like, So,
exactly.
So Dave Holland, I mean, hello. How'd you get connected with him back in 1993? He just heard about you and reached out?
Yeah. Okay. So, like I say, some of the things about how I got associated with different musicians was like, we could say it was kismet, or it could be just ironic. But I was actually recording with Calvin on 14th Street, and he decided. He said, "Let's just take a break. Let's walk down to the Village." So I walked down to the Village. The whole band did actually, and then we ran into this bass player Reggie Washington. And I remember in the conversation, he said, "Hey, Steve Coleman is actually leaving Dave Holland's band." I was like, "Really?" Hey, man, give me Dave Holland's number.
Yeah.
So he got Dave's number for me. I called Dave up and, basically I said, "Hey, I heard that, Steve Coleman was leaving the group. I think you'd be interested in what I do." So he said, "Okay, maybe we could get together and do some playing." I said, "Great," and he said, "Okay, I'm going to call you next week. We'll make something happen." It's okay. I was like, "Great, okay." So I waited till next week. But next week came, no call.
Oh.
So I called him back and I said, "Hey, Dave, how you doing? This is Eric Person." "Oh, okay, how you doing?" Yeah, I was a little busy, so let's try next week. Next week, Wednesday, I'll call you. We'll make something happen. I was like, okay, great. So same thing happened. I was like, oh, man. So let me call this guy one more time. So I called him up. Hey, Dave. Oh, hey, Eric again. Sorry, man. They just picked up, busy. Like, I was like, hey, I understand. No problem. He said, listen, next week. Let's do it next week. I'm going to call you next week and get together. So next week came, no call. I said this, you know what? That's it. I'm not calling this guy. So it was disappointing, and it was just like, okay. I mean, I just went on about doing whatever I was doing. And then it was actually maybe 6 months later, he called and
wow.
said, hey, can I come over your place? Can you play at your place? I said, yeah, sure. And then so he came over, we ran over some of his music, and he liked what I was doing. So he said, I'm going to send you some music in a week, and we'll go from there. And actually, that band, which had Steve Nelson on vibraphones and Gene Jackson on drums, we used to get together once a month and kind of go over, his music and kind of get ourselves to know each other musically. And then we did our first gig in January of 94.
Wow.
And
good memory.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, that was a great group. And the record we did, which is called Dream of the Elders, many say that's their favorite record of his. I know a lot of DJs I talked to and musicians said that was their favorite.
That's their favorite, yeah. And there you were on it. Wow, that's so cool. It's amazing. You kind of let go, of just thinking he was going to call, and then look what happened. He did. Just a little later than you expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the music business is just different. It's you can hound somebody and they could get turned off, but he was cool, and I was actually cool. I was just kind of like, hey, I'm playing with house money.
Right.
This wasn't something I just went all out after, and I got the number from the bass player I mentioned and just called him casually, actually,
Right.
And so it just worked out. So I'm happy about the experience.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. He's a master at his craft for sure. Now let's talk about this new CD is your 11th. When was your first? When was your debut album?
Okay, that record actually is called Arrival, and I did it I think it was released in 92 or 93. I can't remember, but that was those were my first one. That was my first one, and it was on Soul Note Records, and out of Italy. And it was kind of it happened in a strange way because the manager with Chico Hamilton hooked it up. Chico was recording on Soul Note, so he talked to them about me, and he got that happening first. But actually, because I was doing quite a bit of solo sax playing at the time, Jeffrey Caddick, the guy who was the manager, Chico, he said, well, why don't you record that? And so I started doing all this recording of solo sax pieces and me playing over some drum machines and whatever. And I really just needed some guidance. I really should have the record that actually came out on Arrival was what we decided to put out after I did all this solo sax stuff,
Right.
I should have just said to him, hey, man, I want to do a record, yes, but I want to do it with my quartet or quintet or whatever. And that's what wound up happening after all this. Oh, well, we think you should go on and do something with the quartet. It was kind of backwards. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. But it's a good learning experience. I mean, one of the things I'm learning a lot from working and talking and alongside Houston Person is the aspect of just being in this business, being clear about your moves.
And now we do have to say that Houston's joining you at the show at the Falcon on Sunday. You are not related. Everybody must ask, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my cousin, so
He's a cousin.
Yeah.
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 Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah. So he's mentoring me in a way that I was like, man, if I could have had this knowledge 30 years ago, I would have not had the missteps.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's all part of my story.
Hey, man, better late than never.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Most definitely. So when you see me up there with Houston, I'm enjoying performing and stuff, but I look at it like I'm going to school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm 59 years old, but I'm still learning,
100%. When did Hugh and Houston, when you've gotten together before, do you remember like learning from him? Obviously he's older than you are. Like when you guys first had a little, musical thing going on?
Actually, we did our first gig in 2009 together. It was a guy who put together a series of performances, and he just came up with the idea of, hey, man, what do you think of Person to Person? You and Houston Person doing a show together.
Love it.
I was like, hey, man, that's fantastic. Let's do it. So he made it together, and the response was great. Mm-hmm. So we promised we would do it again, and actually we didn't perform again till we did 2 days at Dizzy's Club Coca-Cola in New York City, and that was in 2017. So actually, there was a big gap in between the first time and the next time we were playing. But after the second time we performed, that's when we said, hey, let's record something, and so. Just conceptualizing the latest CD, Blue Vision, I thought of it as like I would feature Person to Person on 4 cuts, and then I'd have these other cuts that would just feature myself. So, and the organ group. So it's been nice how it's building, So yeah, it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, it is. And this new CD, I really have, Eric. I mean, you sent it to me. Thank you for doing that. I don't know, a couple months ago. I have been playing it, if not every show, every other show, like a track from it. I'm really digging it. Some of the players, let's talk about some of the players you have on here. You, of course, Houston, talk about your organ guy.
Yeah, Adam Klippel, actually, he'd been working with me since 2009, and he's on my Thoughts on God CD, playing piano. But he's a fantastic musician, and actually, I used him more on piano and electric piano and stuff like that. But people would say, "Oh man, you should hear him on organ." And I was like, "Yeah, I should." And then it wasn't until I needed him in the studio where I was like, "You know what? I just remember that he's supposed to be a great organ player." So I said, let me call him up, see if he can come through. So he was able to do that, and he did his thing on the record. So yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, no, he is. And Alex Smith is on organ as well, and you also have the great Pete McCann on electric guitar, right?
Yeah. Actually, Pete McCann, I had heard him on somebody else's CD, and I was immediately struck by his tone, or his sound, and I was like, I would like to, make some music with this guy. So when the opportunity came with this CD about, having like the organ and guitar sound, I called him up. I said, hey man, can you do something on this? And he was like, yeah, definitely. So he, what you hear is what he did. So
yeah, good stuff. He's on 4 of those tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you have Rob Kistner on rhythm guitar for track 2. And
now that's funny because we were actually in the studio mixing this, and we were listening to Dear Old Stockholm, and he had a Stratocaster hanging on the wall.
Who, Scott Petito?
No, this was actually at Cassandra Studios in Beacon.
In Beacon, okay,
So
gotcha.
Rob Kistner, he engineers that, but he also plays bass and guitar. So I saw that guitar on the wall, and we were just listening to Daryl Stockholm. And I said, "Hey man, I hear this rhythm," and then I start hearing this rhythm. I say, "Man, get that guitar and play this rhythm." So he played it, and he played it a couple of times, and so we got it down on the recording, and it just that kind of stuff is just like magical to me, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you also have the great Tony Jefferson on drums on this album.
Yeah.
Whew.
Tony Jefferson, we did hundreds of gigs together in the city and in Connecticut and Hudson Valley and everything. So I just thought it was good to kind of get some of what we was doing together, documented. So
Sure.
It happened it happened for this recording.
Yeah. Again, we're talking with Eric Person, the new release called Blue Vision, featuring Houston Person. And you will be, Eric, at the Falcon this Sunday, the 19th, with Houston Person. You'll also be next Tuesday, the 21st, the Summer Solstice Music Festival in New York City. And then on Monday, June 27th, you'll be at Quinn's in Beacon.
Yeah, and it's funny because they're all kind of different groups. Actually, if anybody's interested, the Summer Solstice Music Festival is different groups all along Park Avenue. So, like basically the Midtown area of Park Avenue. We're actually going to be at 299 Park Avenue, that building there. So
nice.
If anybody's interested.
Yeah, if anybody's interested. Yeah, absolutely. And also, I would say you have a great website. Check out your website, ericperson.com. And it's Eric with a C. No K, ericperson.com. And better yet, just go see you live at the Falcon, right? No tickets are sold at the Falcon. It is by donation only. All you need to do is make a reservation at live@thefalcon.com or give them a call. And Sunday, June 19th, bring Dad along. It's Father's Day. And, it's going to be a great night of nice jazz at the Falcon. You've played at the Falcon before?
Oh yeah. I mean, I perform with another project I have. I have a Ronald Shannon Jackson project, so we do his music, and actually Neil Alexander and Robert Kopech is in that band. So we played there actually right before COVID hit, and it was a great show. So
awesome.
This is really kind of my second time playing there in the night slot. And Sunday nights, they're jazz series, so you fit right in there, and going to be a great night. So you have 7 tracks on this CD. I played Soul Saturation. I'm going to let you be DJ. What song do you want me to play? What track? Okay, so since we're going to do the person to person this Sunday, let's do Old Hat Feathers.
Okay, Old Hat Feathers. That's a beautiful thing. That's what I'll play. And that's track number 5. Eric, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. I really thoroughly enjoy your music. You are a master at what you do. Your craft is just so wonderful. Your compositions, your playing, your style, you're awesome. So thank you for providing the world with music, because we need it now more than ever. I think ericperson.com, check out your website. You're on some of the socials as well. Keep up with where you're playing this Sunday, the 19th at the Falcon with Houston Person. Tuesday, the 21st, if you're listening from the city, Eric will be at the Summer Solstice Music Festival at 299 Park Avenue. And on Monday, June 27th, you'll be in Beacon at Quinn's. Check out ericperson.com.
I just want to add that last gig you mentioned at Quinn's, that's going to be my duo scope project with it's just me and a drummer. So it's me and Bob Meyer, the drummer. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's a nice little different lineup at each one happening. And again, Houston person to person this Sunday. That's so cool. I love the title of that. So thank you again for your time. I'm going to dedicate the rest of this hour to play more of your tracks. Besides Old Hat Feathers, what do you want me to play, Eric? You pick. You are the DJ.
Okay. So after that, how about if you feel like something fast, No Doubt True That. That's
okay.
Also from Blue Vision.
All right.
And then you got the rest of the records, right?
I got the rest of the record. You got that, my friend.
Yeah.
Awesome. I hope to see you in person soon. Thank you for your time here today, Eric. And be safe, enjoy, and thanks for everything today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll be tuning in.
All right. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you, Eric.
All right. My pleasure.
Have a good
Thank
one.
You, Rita.
My pleasure. Thank
you.
you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right.
91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. The great saxophonist and composer, Mr. Eric Person. Again, he will be performing with Houston Person this Sunday, the 19th, at the Falcon in Marlborough. All you got to do is make reservations. There's no tickets for sale. Everything is by donation. Now, let's keep the music going here with Mr. Eric Person. As he requested, this track is off the new album called Blue Vision. We'll take a listen to Old Hat Feathers right now on 91.3 WVKR. yeah, that's how it's done. 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Old Hat Feathers off the new release called Blue Vision by Eric Person. Also featuring on tenor saxophone Houston Person, as well as electric guitar Pete McCann on that track. Great new album by Mr. Eric Person. Thank you, Eric, for your time on the show today. If anyone is tuning in and you missed part or all of that interview, you can tune in and subscribe to the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel. It'll be uploaded there tonight, as well as the Facebook page by the same name. Eric Person will be bringing Houston Person called Person to Person this Sunday night, a show at the Falcon in Marlborough. This Sunday, June 19th. You just need to make reservations at live@thefalcon.com. Never a ticket sold. Everything is done by donation. We're going to play one more track from Blue Vision, and then we will start with the rest of the show. LocalMotion, we're here each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m., featuring music of the Hudson Valley. The track we'll play now, let's see. He suggested True Doubt, True Dat. Let's take a listen to that right now on 91.3. 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. No Doubt, True Dat is the title of the track from the new album released by Eric Person called Blue Vision, featuring Houston Person. Person to Person will be performing this Sunday at the Falcon in Marlborough, live at thefalcon.com. Check out ericperson.com. Keep up with all the great music he's recording and whom he's performing with. Thank you, Eric, for your time here today. Always a pleasure talking with you. And again, Eric at the Falcon with Houston Person this coming Sunday. It's 4:59. You are tuned into LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. We're broadcasting live from the beautiful campus here at Vassar College. The show is here each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. and it features music of the Hudson Valley. So I haven't been here the past 2 weeks because I was lucky enough to be in Europe for, 12 days or 11 days, something like that. I was traveled over there with my daughter. We spent 3 nights in Amsterdam, and then we went over to Frieden, Germany, which is where I spent many years growing up, probably most of the first 8 years of my life. And I spent time with my family, and I hadn't seen most of them in about 6 years. And we were supposed to take this trip in 2020. We all know what happened. Also couldn't go last year for the same reason. And we finally were able to travel this year. And to say that I'm missing them is an understatement. My heart is very heavy because I realized how much I care for everybody that I saw there, friends and family. I'm going to play a track now, which you may never hear again on this show, because it's by the Eagles. And it's not that I don't like the Eagles. It's just not what this show does. But I have a cousin in Germany who had a heart attack 6 weeks ago and then had a stroke, and he's in rehabilitation, and he is a fighter unlike anyone I've seen in a long time. And just when we didn't think things were going so well, he's turning it around slowly but surely, and he's able to stand up and he's able to talk a little bit, and I'm just so proud of him. Unfortunately, of course, I was not able to see him on this trip. So I'm going to dedicate this next song for my cousin Edie. And maybe somehow he'll hear it because we are recording this. But I also want to say thank you to some of the other people that I saw in Frieden. I want to say thank you to my cousin who housed me and my daughter Doris and Herman. Thank you. Thank you. Michael and Nadine. Robert and Julia and Tante Ilse and Ulla and Kuni und Miriam und Philipp und Thomas und Doris und Heinz Bifang und Marlies und Elisabeth und Vicky und Katharina, Uncle Heribert, Tante Mia, my friend Chippy, Hempy, just everybody that I ran into. I've spent a lot of my past goes to Frieden, Germany, so it was really good. So anyway, thank you for allowing me to babble. I'm now going to continue with the music here for this next hour. This one I'm going to dedicate to my cousin Edie, who's fighting hard. And then the next one, I also start off each and every show here, and I dedicate a track to Tony Falco from The Falcon, and he left us with a really cool playlist. So the next 2 songs I'm playing are dedications. Let's start this one off with the Eagles, believe it or not, here on LocalMotion 91.3 WVKR.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you're a hard one, but I know that you got your reasons. These things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. You know the queen of hearts is always your best bet. Now it seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table, but you only want the ones that you can't get. Desperado, oh, you ain't getting no younger. Your pain and your hunger, they're driving you home. And freedom, oh freedom, well that's just some people talking. Your prison is walking through this world all alone. Don't your feet get cold in the wintertime? The sky won't snow and the sun won't shine. It's hard to tell the nighttime from the day. You're losing all your highs and lows. Ain't it funny how the feeling goes away? Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Come down from your fences. Open the gate. It may be raining, but there's a rainbow above you. You better let somebody love you. Let somebody love you. Better let somebody love you before it's too late.
Hey, Angelina, why you wanna do me like that? Sputtering really long, ain't nothing wrong. I ain't just a pet in your cat. Hey, hey, where's your mama? I know she been looking for me. She take a sip and flash me a slip, but she ain't gonna let me be. I got a love so big and it might be true, but your crazy mama might take it from you. My eyes are still curly and your face is still blue. Hey Angelina, what we gonna do? Hey, hey, hey Angelina, tell me where your daddy went. Your mama said he left, I'm willing to bet. Got bent when all his money got spent by your mama when she found her young man. Picked him from a cherry tree. She spit him up a two like she chawing the chew, and now she coming after me. I got a love so big and it might be true, but your crazy mama might take her from you. My eyes are still curly, but your face is turning blue. Hey Angelina, what you gonna do? Hey have a problem on our hands, baby. Get a little frustrated, baby.
.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie. It's 5:10 p.m. I'm your host, Rita Ryan, here each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. We just heard Kenny Roby, the album called The Reservoir, the track Hey Angelina, and a couple of coincidences here. That is a track from Tony Falco's playlist. I always start off each show after an interview or before with a track to dedicate to Tony and to honor Tony, because he left us with a really cool playlist and lots of tracks on it, hundreds of tracks. So every week I pick out something different, and this week it was Kenny Roby. And also to let you know that Kenny Roby will be my guest here next week on LocalMotion. So it's a track for Tony Falco, and it's to let you know that Kenny will be my guest here next week. I started the hour off here with a track you probably will never hear on this show again, from the Eagles. We heard Desperado, and I play that specifically for my cousin Edie in Germany, in Frieden, Germany, who is getting through a heart attack and a stroke and fighting like hell. And he loves the Eagle, and he turned me on to a lot of music when I was a teenager, and we listened to a whole bunch of albums. And I remember buying a Neil Young album with him, and just Cat Stevens, just lots of great music that he turned me on to. And so yeah, we're putting our collective good thoughts together and sending them over to Edie and wishing him a good recovery and a speedy one. So anyway, that's that. It's 5:11. Let's see. You know what we're going to do now? We're going to give away a pair of tickets. All right. So you've got a great show happening up in Woodstock this Sunday, which is also obviously Father's Day. So if you have a dad, or if you are a dad, or you just want to not even be a dad, and you like jazz, the Brubeck brothers are playing up at Bearsville Theater. I'm going to give one lucky caller a pair of tickets. Please don't call if you can't go to the show. The tickets are way too valuable and take up, you want to be able to go to the show. So please be able to go to the show if you're calling in a pair of tickets to the Bearsville Theater in Woodstock for this Sunday. Let me tell you a little bit about the Brubecks. Chris and Dan Brubeck have been making music together practically all their lives. Drummer Dan and bassist, trombonist, and composer Chris cut their first record together in 1966. They've subsequently played a variety of styles in a number of different groups, as well as with their father, jazz giant Dave Brubeck, and with their own Brubeck Brothers Quartet. With Dan and Chris as the foundation, guitarist Mike D'Amico and pianist Chuck Lamb complete this dynamic quartet. The quartet's last CD, Lifetime, was a hit on the Jazz Week radio chart, where it made the top 10 list as one of the most played jazz recordings of the year. These versatile musicians also collaborate with orchestras all across the U.S. as well as internationally, including performing with the Singapore Chinese Orchestra and the Russian National Orchestra. With Chris Brubeck's compositions as a vehicle, the group has joined with chamber groups to collaborate with musicians from the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, the Philadelphia Orchestra, and the Russian National Symphony Orchestra. That's a little bit about the Brubeck Brothers Quartet. If you'd like to go to see them on Sunday, the show is at 8 p.m. The doors open at 6 p.m. BearsvilleTheater.com. You can get all the information. You and a friend can go see the tickets courtesy of Brubeck Brothers and Bearsville Theater, and us here at LocalMotion on 91.3. The phone number for you to call to win those tickets is 845-437-7178. Again, you and a guest, please be able to go to the show. Again, it's happening this Sunday, June 19th in Woodstock, Bearsville Theater. One lucky caller is going to get a pair of tickets to check out the Brubeck Brothers Quartet. Phone number 845-437-7178. I'm going to play a track of the Brubeck Brothers music right now and get you in the mood for some great music that's happening at the Bearsville Theater in Woodstock on Sunday. Again, the phone number to call here, 845-437-7178. You and a guest get to go see Brubeck Brothers Quartet. Let's take a listen to them right here, right now. And again, the phone number, 845-437-7178. The show is Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 19th. Let's take a listen right now, 91.3. 91.3 WVKR, Brubeck Brothers. We just heard 1958 to 2018 Timeline, the release, and celebrating the 60th anniversary of Dave Brubeck's Historic State Department tour. Still have a pair of tickets up for grabs. So if you'd like to go see the Brubeck Brothers Quartet this Sunday in Woodstock at Bearsville Theater, and you're able to go to that show, doors open at 6 p.m., show is at 8 p.m., info, you can look at bearsvilletheater.com, but you can also call right now and get a pair of tickets to that show. And the phone number here is 845-437-7178. Again, if you'd like to go, a pair of tickets up for grabs right here, right now on LocalMotion. All you need to do is call 845-437-7178. Now, another artist performing at Bearsville Theater this weekend on Friday night, Mr. Martin Sexton. Let's take a listen to him. And again, pair of tickets up for grabs for the Brubeck Brothers at 845-437-7178.
Does Satan wear a suit and tie? Does he work at the Dairy Queen? Does he listen to rock and roll? Does he feed the mean? Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. What about Jesus? Didn't he do it too? Hang out with the prostitutes and have a drink or two. Power of example, my mama said it and I heard. She said 1 ounce of action beats a ton of words, singing hallelujah. And mama said there would be angels, hallelujah. And mama said there would be sun. Is the devil in Elvis to go when a white man went? Or hiding in Hugh Hefner's body? Or maybe even Larry Flynn? Say, how's about the president shield and all them stones? Man, if I could find a shield like that, I'd walk round naked in my glass home, sipping hallelujah. My angel's gone to Vegas, hallelujah, holding aces in her hand, hallelujah, as she's singing Rock of Ages, hallelujah, on the table at the Sands. Does Satan wear a suit and tie? Does he work at the Dairy Queen? Does he listen to rock and roll? Does he feed the mean? Streaking all of us, all the saints here on earth, hypnotized and over-advertised till we're numb at birth, singing hallelujah. My old angel's turning pages, hallelujah. She doesn't seem to understand, hallelujah, that devil's out on her trail, hallelujah. On the road to broken promised land, hallelujah. On the TV and the radio, on the moneyed public waves, good and evil look the same to you. Elvis lives and Jesus saves us all.
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. We just heard Martin Sexton, Live Wide Open was the album, and we heard the song called Hallelujah. That's good old Martin Sexton, who will be at Bearsville Theater on Friday night. And the Brubeck brothers will be there on Sunday night. So really good weekend lineup at Bearsville Theater. What we're going to do is keep the music flowing right here now. And this gentleman will be playing tomorrow night at the Falcon in Marlborough, Mr. Oz Noy. Let's take a listen to his track. And let me load this up. And here we go. This will be Oz Noy. He's going to bring a great group with him tomorrow night to the Falcons. So let's take a listen right now to a track of his, which of course I put the wrong one in. Live radio is a really wonderful thing sometimes, so just bear with me. We'll get there. There we go. Let's take a listen to Evidence by Oz Noy, 91.3.